Hello and welcome to Apex Reviews. Today we're going to be looking at Lake Allatoona in northern Georgia. Lake Allatoona is about an hour to an hour and a half from Atlanta. It's also about an hour from Marietta, Kennesaw, almost anywhere in the northern area of the state. Lake Allatoona is right near Red Top Mountain. Lake Allatoona is owned by the Corps of Engineers, and a lot of the land is still undeveloped. But once you head towards the northern end, there are quite a few houses. There's still some being built too. There's a dam at the southern end, and there's a lot of good areas down there to do some tubing or skiing and staying away from general traffic. Lake Allatoona covers more than 12,000 acres and has roughly 270 miles of shoreline. During the wintertime, they do drop the level of Allatoona, so when they raise it back up in the spring, it is a little murky. But by the time May or June come around, the water gets pretty clear. I'm over 6 foot tall, and I can see those fish nibbling on my toes while I sit there and float and drink a beer. These first few videos were taken of Allatoona on a weekday. As you can see, it's pretty calm. You almost have the lake to yourself. We'll frequently go out there on a Wednesday or Thursday, and we might see one other boat. Sometimes there's some fishermen, but they pretty much stick to the shoreline. So if you're looking to tube, wakeboard, or surf, you're going to have plenty of space, and the water stays pretty smooth. Our inaugural run every year is always on Mother's Day. The air temperature is pretty warm, but the water is still pretty cool. We'll jump in and cool off pretty quick, but you can't stay in it for too long. But come summertime, the water warms up nicely and we'll spend hours just floating around. We'll usually keep boating all the way through October. That's when the water level starts to drop. The air gets a little cooler. We'll definitely surf and wakeboard in October also. Once you get around October, November, the water level drops significantly and the water gets a little cooler, so that's about time to put the boat up. There are plenty of marinas on the lake. There's 3 or 4 at the south end, a couple in the middle, and a few more to the north end. At the north end, you'll find a lot of sailing. They have regattas typically on the weekend, and there's 2 or 3 restaurants up there. If you've ever watched the TV show Ozark, they did a lot of filming on Allatoona. Most of the marinas have floating docks. Almost all of them have covered storage. Some of them will even valet your boat. Live music is pretty common on the weekends. You'll also see a lot of lake yachts driving around. These are your 60-foot cruisers. They usually go pretty slow, but definitely put out a big wave. So you need to be prepared for that. Multiple marinas on the lake will also rent you pontoons, cruisers, or jet skis. They do give a 1-hour training course, but I would recommend staying away from any rental boat if you're an avid boater. I've been up and down the lake quite a few times. It takes a couple hours to get from one end to the other, traveling at around 30 knots. There are some bridges, but none of them are too short to worry about. If you have a sailboat, you may be of concern, but if you have a houseboat or a wakeboard boat with a tower, then you can easily get underneath them. We've also used these bridges for cover during some random thunderstorms we get in the summer. Most of the marinas also have maintenance on the lake, so if your boat breaks down, there's always a place to take it. If you have a towboats membership, they'll come and get you too. They are located on the lake. All in all, we love Allatoona. We've been going there for decades. There's some rock formations at the south end near the dam that you can jump off of, and there's a waterfall near the north end. It's a little bit hidden, and you can't get there by boat unless you have a pontoon or a jet ski. But if you can find it, it's a lot of fun. You can climb to the top and jump off the waterfall too. There's plenty of stuff to do there, and if you get hot, pull over to one of the marinas and grab ice cream. That's what we always do. The weekends on Allatoona can be a little different though. Traffic does get pretty hectic. It's not too bad if you go out before 10, and you can usually get some good boating in up until around lunchtime. But by then, everybody and their brother is out there on the lake. The jet skis are out in swarms, pontoon boats everywhere. Usually by then we find a nice cove, which there are plenty of, and we just start doing some swimming, trying to stay out of the way. Weekends are bad for any lake, and they are definitely bad for Allatoona. The good thing is there's plenty of places where you can go to escape the crazy. Down near the southern end, there's a few bridges that keep some of those bigger boats out of the way. And if you're interested in floating or doing some light board sports or some tubing, there's some space down there where the traffic won't bother you. There's a lot of good places to tie up too. There's always some party coves going on. I can think of 3 right off the bat. If you're interested in floating and hanging out with groups of people who enjoy the same, then you'll definitely be able to find that on Allatoona. If you're really interested in branching out, check out Lake Norman up near Charlotte. It gets busy during the weekends also, but during the week it's amazing. And the houses are right there on the lakefront. No steep hills to climb. Lake Norman is a great place for retirement, but don't tell anybody. Thanks for watching.